You complete me. And I've just had...
Shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas with their families and had a good time. Obviously, we're recording this one a little bit before Christmas. There's maybe even a gift or two in the background that I've got ready for the kids in the morning. Now, it's been an interesting, 2 years now, Perch. We both had our channels on YouTube, basically covering comic books inside and out for 2 years. We've both experienced highs and lows. Thought maybe we would just kind of talk about what we experienced the last year, maybe some of the things that we're thinking about doing in the future. How you doing, Perch?
I'm doing great. It's been a good it's been a good partnership with you. I think we've managed to cover a lot. I mean, and the industry has gone through so much chaos in the time we've had channels. I these last 2 years, especially the last year, has been absolutely nuts, and it's been nice to have a steady voice to talk through things with.
Absolutely, it's tough. I'll let people in on this. Being a YouTuber isn't the most isn't the most fun thing in the world. Sometimes you do feel a little bit isolated. So it's nice to have somebody to bounce things off of, to talk to, because sometimes it can feel a little lonely. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the reason I did this was to kind of recreate the conversations that I was having in the shop with customers. And then when my shop, when I closed it back in 2019, I started doing more videos because I was desiring more conversations like this. And then with this pandemic and the shutdown and everything else, it's a very lonely, profession. And the temptation, you can't really have the same conversations on places like Twitter or Facebook. I mean, that's all. There's just no serious conversation that could be had there, really.
It's too many trolls. And being here in the Philippines, there's not a lot of native English speakers here. Most people do speak English, but I'm one of the few people, obviously, that speak English as a first language. And there's only one city in the entire country that has comic shops, and that's Manila. I do not live in Manila, and I do not live on that island. So actually finding other comic book fans just locally to talk to, I found one or two here and there, but it's just it's very difficult.
It's the same. I mean, I in theory have a lot more comic shops in my area, but of course, when we founded the Nation of Chaz up here in the Pacific Northwest, it didn't have any comic shops. It was just pretty much printed manifestos and other things. They didn't have comics. So, no, we've of course been experiencing comic book store shutdown, and it can be tough talking to people about comics. I think once you get out of the comic store bubble. You go to a bookstore, far more people want to talk about manga these days. So it's just good to find people who want to talk things.
Absolutely. So it's interesting. You mentioned that you've been a retailer in the past. You don't currently own a shop, but you were supposed to actually have a shop. I think you had, things were signed, right?
Yeah, in March. Yeah, I had to walk away for about $50,000, I would say. When all was said and done, I was supposed to open up in March. Of course, that was a terrible time here in Seattle area to open up a shop, and it's been a holding pattern. Obviously, you can open up shops now again. You can do that. You can get permits and everything, but it's a terrible business climate to open in. So I'm waiting. I do hope in the months to come. I mean, I think as soon as we see the business climate start to shift at hopefully the early part of 2021, we'll get opened again. But yeah, it's been a definite bumpy road for sure. And I've had shops off and on for, it'll be 30 years next year. So old man Perch here. And I miss it. I do love that environment, even though the industry itself is quite a struggle most of the time.
It is a funny industry. I don't know what it is about me and the things that I end up loving. Like I'm a huge pro wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And you kind of get into the nuts and bolts of it. And you're like, wow, this is really dysfunctional. Big, huge comic book fan. Get in the nuts and bolts. You're like, probably not as dysfunctional as wrestling, but it's pretty damn close.
It's getting there. Yeah.
Why do I always find these hobbies?
I'm with you. I wrestling for sure. Spent a lot of time, have friends who are wrestlers, and it's yeah. I mean, these things all come together. I mean, I made the joke earlier, but I do enjoy manga. I enjoy a lot of the Japanese culture influence, and spend a lot of time over there. And all this stuff is niche. There are a bunch of niche hobbies, and then on top of that, you've got, like you mentioned, certainly with wrestling and comics, you have some pretty, maybe shady is the nice word, business practices that go on behind the scenes.
Yeah, they kind of both take advantage of contractors, quote unquote contractors and stuff like that. But speaking of manga and Japanese culture, I don't know how much you've talked about this on your channel. I watch a lot of your videos. I don't get to watch everything, but you've been to Japan a lot. That's not by accident, correct?
No, not by accident at all. I have a relative there, of course, and I've done work over in Japan, and so I lived there for about 6 to 9 months, and then I was in a period where I was traveling back and forth at least once a month for a while, spending weeks at a time. So I know the area really well. I have very good friends there. Godfather, my daughter, lives there. Just very, very, very good support, and I really love that region because it kind of has integrated a lot of these kind of elements together better. Like if you're a wrestling fan over in Japan, it's definitely integrated with their pop culture, and same thing with comics.
Take it a lot more seriously.
Much more seriously, and it benefits. Now I think there's similar problems. There's a lot of manga artists who are dirt poor, and there's certainly problems there, but it doesn't feel like the same system that takes advantage of people. And I know some people will show up in the comments to disagree, but it's different. I think the U.S. environment knows exactly what it's doing, and I just think the seriousness helps.
I agree. So you mentioned you're the godfather of your child. I've got 2 kids. I mean, You've got 2 kids. Well, I think we both just expanded our families for Christmas week. We got puppies this year.
Yes. Both of us with new dogs. So doing the house training thing, and kids who the kids love it. I mean, my daughter burst into tears when she knew she was getting the dog. Just happy tears. It's like caught it on video. Like perfect.
That is awesome.
It was wonderful to see that happiness. That was a great thing. But certainly, it's also funny. The kids don't quite know how to deal with the dog either. Like it's like, hey, I'm going to take one for a walk. Let me grab by the neck and swing it around.
Mm-hmm. Like, here, let me grab the dog by his leg. I'm like, no, that's not how we handle the dog. And then my 5-year-old and our beagle puppy, they're like immediate best friends. Like, all he talks about is how much he loves his dog right now.
Yeah.
He never says he loves his dad anymore. I am the same. I find myself on the outside. It's a cold winter here in the Perch house. It's no, both kids are very happy with the dog, but it's all their attention right now. And being manga fans, they name my dog's named Luffy. So after the One Piece character, and it's we can't escape nerd culture no matter what you do. Absolutely. Our puppy's name is Aurora, obviously after Storm. So
beautiful.
As soon as my son wants to watch anything X-Men now, that is, his dog is named after an X-Men character. Like there's a X-Men anime on Netflix right now. He's like, we gotta keep watching it. Storm's in there. Aurora.
Yeah, we're my older daughter's read all the manga, and we're watching the anime of One Piece, and my younger daughter, let's see, how do I sell this without spoilers? Anyway, we're watching what's called the Marineford arc, and Luffy is the center of that. And so she's sitting there on the couch, and the dog's on the lap, and they're watching all this, and then something really bad happens to a friend of Luffy's in that arc, and my younger daughter's like, "Oh no, cover his eye!" It's like he doesn't know what's going on. It'll be okay.
Yeah, my son, like one of his favorite things to do right now, just besides watching his normal shows, he likes to watch. I guess there's like a Blumhouse Benji movie.
Yeah.
That I never knew existed, but he wants to watch dog movies with his puppy. So he sits there with his puppy, and they watch Benji together. And obviously Benji gets put in a little bit of peril. I can see it on his face. It's rough for the little guy. But it's about to get even crazier in my house. I know you know this. I don't think I've told all the viewers this yet, but my wife and I guess we're expecting baby number 3 in 2021.
Well, congratulations on that. I will not follow you down that path, but
come on, man.
No, you're okay. I'm too old for this shit. No, I congratulations. That's awesome. The family's expanding, and that's great. It's a happy time of year.
I never planned on having my third child at 43, but I'm going to accept my blessings when I can get them. We're really excited, and obviously the 1-year-old doesn't really understand what's happening, but the 5-year-old he's really excited too. So it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, a newborn, and a 1-year-old puppy.
Yeah, your hands are full. Your
And I've got a growing YouTube channel, supposedly. I mean, heck, we're both about to hit 10,000 subscribers. We should hit them maybe the first or second week of January, maybe.
Yeah, I think in the next 30 days it will help. I mean, I got a recent boost to catch up with you. You're going to continue to pull ahead for me. I think you speak more to the masses a little bit better than I do, but it's great to be in this position, and I'm just glad I'm here doing it with you. It's
crazy. My first year, the goal was I wanted to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I was able to meet that by a few weeks. And then this year, the goal was 10,000. And I'm going to miss it by a few weeks. But I kind of got screwed over.
Yes,
because I've been requesting pins to verify my location for months on end now. And I never received it. And it never received it. So they ended up demonetizing my channel. And, obviously with we've known the baby's coming for a little bit of a while now. It was starting to be pretty stressful here in the house, but we finally got it worked out this week. Talk about a huge relief here in the Thinking Critical house.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you've been working so hard. You deserve to have this. And I mean, navigating YouTube and the oddness of YouTube. And I guess who knows if I don't want to get you in trouble on your channel by saying something negative about them. They shouldn't care, but their rules are all over the place, and their policies are not consistent. Navigating that, I mean, if you've tried to do a YouTube channel, it's completely mystifying why they
exercise and frustration.
Exercise and frustration is exactly right. It seems like a very immature, very, very random platform. And
it's the weirdest thing for months now. Every day, or if I gain 40 subscribers, there's like, I call it the witching hour. The witching hour happens, obviously I think it's like when everybody in the US is sleeping, but obviously I'm in Asia. I'm not sleeping, and I see it. If I gain 40 subscribers, I lose 32 subscribers at that one moment. If I gain 10 subscribers, I lose 8 at that very moment every single day.
Yeah, I'll see very random things where I'll gain. What's weird is the numbers are crazy. I had a day I gained 200 subs. The next day I lost 190 subs, and I have no idea what is going on. What are these people who are they bots? Did they come in? But why all at once? I'm sure somebody could explain it all to me, but it drives me nuts. It's definitely an exercise in frustration, and it's a pain because you put up content, and both of us put up a lot of content, and it's I love the comments. I think you get good comments. It's great to interact with people, and so if you're having to fight this kind of random YouTube fight in the background, it takes away from that experience for sure.
It's crazy because I bet this year I've taken 5 days off.
Yeah,
from creating content. People think that's crazy. It's a passion of mine. I actually enjoy making the content. I enjoy talking to people and all that stuff. Eventually what my wife said, man, you're crazy. Is like, they're never going to send you the pin. Why do you even keep doing it?
Yeah.
It's going to turn out okay eventually. I put all this time and effort into it, to just cut my losses would sting very badly. So I'm glad it finally all worked out in our favor now. I don't know. Are you ready to rest on your laurels in 2021?
I would.
You're a big shot?
No, I definitely need to scale it back a little bit. I'm putting out too many videos, but I built templates and everything for myself, so it really happens pretty quickly. But I have still a lot to talk about. I will slow that down some. I didn't do this, I didn't have the same goal. I wasn't trying to get to 10,000. I just wanted to kind of build it up and do some things. And really it was a holding pattern until the shop was open. Then I'd kind of transition to maybe doing more stuff from the shop where I could show what's going on. But as that stretches on and on and on, it's been different. So I've been doing more of these analysis videos lately. I've been trying to get more interviews lately. I think this is the thing that irritates at least half the audience. Is I like inviting people on who have a very different opinion from what people think, and then hearing them out, trying to figure out, why do you think that way? I think that there's value in that. The conversation with Murphy had been good. The conversation with Jeff Thorne, I loved, because it was he was taking a lot of heat on the internet from people over this Bleeding Cool article. I think comic news sites are trash, so I wanted to hear his side of the story. And it turned out, I wasn't expecting to find a guy who's a very deep comic fan who talked about comic shop experiences and titles from the 70s and the 80s with a lot of knowledge. And it was a great conversation. So that's the kind of stuff, with the being on your show, talking with Joe, which both of us have had chats with. I mean, stuff I've done with Larry. There's lots of great people out there, and having those conversations is just. Why would I stop? Why would either of us stop? That's the fun part.
Absolutely, and from our experiences, why would either of us want to stop at YouTube?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
and we will not.
2021 is the year that Perch and Thinking Critical transcend YouTube when we start expanding, our ability to get our message out and talk about comics. So we have a few plans in place.
We do.
They're not exceptionally firm. We know where we're moving towards, but we haven't got exactly like dates and stuff. But we're going to try and find other platforms similar to YouTube and see if we can get some growth there. But we also want to find platforms that where we can take the content that we're creating, or maybe something similar, and put it out there in that medium as well.
Yeah, 2021 for sure. I think, as you said, we've been talking a lot. We've been putting stuff together, targets, branding, packaging, all the above. I think it is time to kind of put together. And for me, I think our goals may be slightly different here. For me, I hate the state of comic book journalism on right now. The websites are clickbait. They're garbage. They seem primarily motivated to get free comps. And we've, how many times have we debunked Bleeding Cool over the last year? It's just it's endless. So I think I'm motivated to provide something much better to people out there. And I think the quality of your content and what we can do, that's where I want to play. I want to put a lot of really solid information, get good analysis out there, and just end some of this nonsense. Because half the problems in comic books, in my view anyway, at least a good portion of the comics, is just bad information that people are throwing out there for their own gain. Absolutely.
Well, my goal is it's similar but the same. I want to get good quality information out there, but I also want to let people know comics are fun. Yes. This is a good place to come and have a good time. There's great people. There's a great community, and the entertainment, is essentially endless. You have so much history and so many great stories to read out there. And obviously, I do want to get the record straight. There's a lot of misinformation that's put out there very intentionally, and I think you and I have gone out of our way to debunk that time and time again. And I think at this point, our track record shows that. We don't say a lot of things just to be outrageous or just to be counter to whatever the narrative is. We try to put the most correct information that we can using the information available, and most of the time we're much more correct, I think, than a lot of other people. But I think these first 2 years, you and I have worked very hard. Like if you look at my content from 2 years ago, or even my content from 12 months ago and look at it now, it's completely different. My style is much more improved. I'm better at delivering my message. And I can tell you, you were great from day one, but you're infinitely better right now.
I'd like to hit the plunge button on my first year. I mean, everything was worse.
It's embarrassing.
It completely is. I at some point I need to go through there and just chop a bunch of those videos out. I mean, I think YouTube was telling me I crossed 2,000 videos at this point, so I can easily dump a bunch.
You're blowing past me. I'm like at 11 or 1,200 maybe.
It's definitely it's improved, and I think there's a lot of ways to go. I've been making more templates. I'm going to be sharing those with you, and we'll go back and forth and hopefully get the content out there. And I love what you said. It is about making this fun. I went a little bit too commando there on. I hate these comic book clickbait websites that are owned by companies that have no interest in comics, by and large. The vast majority of them are owned by some weird parent company. And that's why you've seen the rise, I think, in a lot of YouTube channels, because people are desperate to get that information out there and have fun. And it should be about fun. And at the end of the day, we spend a lot of time fighting and arguing for a hobby that is supposed to be escapism, and it's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be something that helps us out. And so it can be. And so I love doing that with you.
Absolutely. So I hate to burst your bubble, but if you were hoping Perch was going to drop the 0 and go find a hero to maybe partner up with as he expands his universe, it ain't happening. And we're actually going to do more stuff together moving forward. As I don't know, you're certainly a friend of mine now. We're essentially business partners, and I don't know. We've got plans moving forward, and I'm very excited for what 2021 can be. And we can't give out all the details, but I think people are going to be happy and excited with what we're doing, and probably a little bit surprised. I
hope so. I hope good surprises. And yeah, you've been a great friend and business partner, certainly. Emphasis probably on the friend. And our families, we've met each other to some extent virtually, of course, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more. I think this is a good partnership, and I think there's the sky's the limit of what we can do. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. I think if people are been watching a channel, hanging out with us, I can promise that our heart will be in it. And so you're always going to get that.
If you've been with us from day one, we're finally ready for prime time, and hopefully that's what you're going to see in 2021. And I do want to say, from the bottom of my heart, Perch, thank you so much. You didn't have to come here on the channel and talk about comics with you. It certainly didn't have to come back. And, I do appreciate it. We do talk behind the scenes a lot, and you're essentially my sanity in comic book YouTube. When I'm having a bad day, or maybe I'm having a bad week, I can bring you here on the channel. We talk beforehand or afterwards on a recording, and I don't know. I always feel better about everything, so I do appreciate that. And yeah.
Well, I have the same. I have to thank you for inviting me on your channel and all the times we spent doing this. I ramble on, so the fact that you keep bringing me back to blab is amazing. And like you, to listeners, Wes has definitely seen me early in the morning when I'm facing like 8 straight hours of work and no sleep from a bunch of consulting stuff I'm doing in addition to all this. And I'm grumpy and tired and confused, and he's put up with that. So thank you for that too.
Yeah, it's been beyond fruitful. We're here at year number 2. I think we can both say that we've been more successful than we probably expected. But like I said, we both honed our craft. I think we're ready for bigger and better things. And I don't know. I guess that's the video, Perch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the big thanks I guess I have is all the people who showed up to listen to us. Thank you for clicking and liking and watching and asking questions and sometimes telling me I'm stupid and wrong. That's good too. I learned from that. But thank you. The viewers are awesome, and it's been a good partnership with a great bunch of people supporting us, and thank you.
Yeah. So if you were hoping for Comics Aficionados live on the channel, today, this is the video that you're getting. It's Christmas weekend. My father-in-law's birthday is on Saturday. We have plans, so I won't be able to do that stream. So this will be up, but we will be doing the Comics Aficionados moving forward. We got plans for that as well, and we do appreciate all of you guys for coming in. And finally, the channel is monetized. We got a 3rd child coming in. We both have fur babies, and it's looking good in 2021.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody. Hope you had a great holiday, and we'll keep talking with you and talking at you, and thanks for listening.